understand that your spouse can join you abroad, or that you can bring your spouse abroad via the study abroad route. How are you doing today? Okay, so my name is Dr. Linda Iheme, and today I will be telling you the secrets that many people have been giving away from you. Can you actually reunite with your spouse, either your husband or your wife, abroad via the study abroad route? Can you? I'm sure you want to hear a yes or no answer. Well. The answer is yes. And I'm going to tell you how. Is that not what you want to know? That's what you want to know. So I'm going to tell you how. But before then, I'm going to introduce myself, and then we're going to talk about who are the people that are affected. We're going to talk about the challenges those persons are having, and we're going to talk about two major solutions, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Cool? Is that a deal? Okay. My name is Dr. Linda Iheme. I'm an educational consultant with Vantage Migration. Vantage Migration, right? Myself and my team, we train graduates who want to relocate abroad. We show them how to do this via the study abroad route. We show them how to get admission, scholarship, study loan, and every other thing they need to successfully relocate abroad. Okay, so that's me. But why am I interested in talking about reunification of families abroad? I've seen this happen and destroy families. I've seen a lot of families go through this problem. And once and for all, I'm going to show you how to solve the problem if you are going through it. All right? So, first of all, who is affected? There are men abroad or women abroad who travel, like, especially before now. Many people did not understand how to relocate abroad legitimately, right? Many people did not really understand it, especially prior to the time when we came and we started teaching about study abroad and all that. I remember when I wanted to travel abroad too, I didn't know the path, like, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know the pathway. So because of this lack of legit information, some people have fallen into the trouble of saying, you know what, I'm going to go there. So you see somebody, they went for a conference, they refused to come back, they overstayed their visa, right? Then you see other people, different things, different challenges that people have had to go through just to relocate. And the problem is that most times they have gone with the mindset of, let me go first, then I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to come take my wife with me, and I'm going to come back, take my husband with me. But things haven't worked out quite well as the person thought, right? Or as you thought. So things didn't work out quite well. We're here to show you a legitimate legal alternative for you, right? A legitimate and legal alternative. And I'm talking about migration for any high income country. Any high income country at all. Call any name you want to call. This will apply to you. All right. Whether you are in Cyprus or Malaysia, I'm not saying, like, I'm just saying, because I know some people have that challenge. I get a lot of emails every day. So whether you are in Cyprus or Malaysia, or you are in UK or any of the European countries, Belgium, right? Or you are in Canada or US, or wherever, irrespective of wherever you find yourself, this solution is actually going to help you. So the people that are affected are people who traveled without their wife or without their husband, with hope that they will go find ways and then come back for their spouse. But things didn't go as planned. So right now, your spouse, which is your husband or your wife, is somewhere in your home country or in another country where things are not nice for them, and they are suffering. You are doing phone calls, right, every day. A distance relationship. You are doing phone calls every day. I don't want to say the other thing. The other thing you do. The other thing that, hey, if you're watching me right now, the other thing you do over phone, right? I did not say it though, but you know what I mean. And it's not like the original thing. You know what I'm saying. So don't worry if you know what if this video is for you, then you understand what I'm saying. If it's not for you, don't worry. And also, if it is, you may be in a situation where you want to take that trip, but that's not what we're talking about today. We are addressing people that are currently affected. Let's say you're a husband or you're a wife, you are somewhere, your wife has gone to find legit pathway, your husband have gone to find legit pathway, they've not come back for you. Listen to me and listen good. Bring this alternative to them, right? So what are the challenges they are facing? The challenge is that there are three of them, three major ones. The first one is that when you travel abroad like you travel abroad and overstay your visa, getting the right visa takes, oh my God, takes everlasting, right? Like you are going to suffer, before you get it. I see some people, they'll even do like a fake marriage, or like fake marriage covers everything, meaning you either marry that person and both of you know the marriage is not real, or the other person think the marriage is real, you know the marriage is not real, you just want to do it to get papers, right? So the regular process takes so long for you to achieve, right? Then the other people, this is one of the challenges, right? So sometimes the person is there, they may even have gotten their papers, but they can't bring somebody over, right? Then there is another problem those people usually have: double marriage, which is what I just mentioned, right? Double marriage problem, because your husband or your wife is in another country, married to somebody, whether it is real or fake, married to somebody else, and you are here. So they don't even want to bring you to the country, because bringing you means that it's going to be obvious they have two wives, and they never want to go through that problem, right? Then the other one is the third problem that you may be facing is that you don't even know what to do. Okay, you are in this situation, but it's like, well, you sleep and wake up in this situation. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to solve the problem, and you're even looking for who to ask. Even when you talk to people around you, they'll be like, so now what did your husband they do? Because most times it's on the average, it's the men that usually go out to find ways, right? And there are women at home, and sometimes too, it can be the woman, but I from where I'm coming from, usually it's the men that do that. So women, you know how women will cover a lot. You don't even want to talk to somebody, because this is what you are going through. You don't even want people around you to know. Like, you don't even want somebody to know that your husband is married to somebody else abroad, So these are the challenges that you may be facing, and I'm here to give you two major solutions that you can achieve on your own, or you can achieve with your husband. Anyone is fine. So, or your wife or your spouse, whatever. So the first one is that, as the spouse who is in another country, you can actually relocate to the country where your husband is or your wife is, and you can relocate and be the one that will help them rectify their papers. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can relocate and be the one to help them rectify their papers. Do you know you can do that? You can do that. So, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say your husband, let me talk to the woman now. Let's say you are in Ghana, or you're in Nigeria, or you're in Liberia, right? Your husband, let's say, went to US and is not able to come back to take you as promised. You can go to US via study abroad route on your own, and you and your husband can then work things out. You see? So instead of you waiting for it to be that your husband have to file papers for you to come, you can actually go through the study abroad route and go to the country straight. Do you see what I mean? You go to this country via study abroad route. Then you can make up you and your husband can, and there may not even be any special problem, because let's say you went through study abroad route, you are still married to your husband. Now both of you are living together. You see what I mean? And every other thing can take off from there. Because sometimes it's even difficult to fight these battles if both of you are separate. If both of you are in two different countries, time zone differences. He's at work, you are not at work. He's at home now, this is your midnight. All those things can tear a family apart. Seriously, it can. So, first step, go to the country where he is. And because of his condition, because he has not even gotten his own papers, he's not able to file for you. If he's telling you that it's possible that it's even true, right? So he may not be able to file for you, but he may be able to pay for you to come through the study abroad route. You may even be going on scholarship, meaning that he or she, your spouse, doesn't need to pay. You get what I mean? So specifically, I'm talking to a spouse who is where they are right now and they want to join their spouse, which is you want to join your husband or wife abroad. Understand that you do not need your spouse to sign off on your study abroad, like to sign off on your study abroad visa. Like you won't be giving visa because your spouse applied for you. You can do your own application by yourself, like working with your spouse too, or not working with your spouse, depending on what the situation is. But the whole point is there's a difference between your spouse filing papers for you and you being able to get your own visa on you by yourself on your own. You can do that through the study abroad route. Go and meet your spouse, and then both of you can work things out. Okay, so this is the first solution, meaning as the spouse you can travel. And if you are listening to me now and the case is that you are the one abroad, you have not gotten your papers, and your wife or your husband is in another country where you really like to bring them over to where you stay, understand that you are thinking about it in one way the day you are going to get your papers and then apply for them, right? No, that process can take, God knows, 10 years and you still have not sorted it out. Instead, apply for them, or work with them so that they can apply for study visa on their own and come and join you. And while you are together, you can work things out. What you don't even know is that, do you know you can travel to a country, overstay your visa, and let's say it's going to take you 5 years, 10 years to rectify things, and your spouse can come through study abroad, and in 1 year or 2 years they've gotten their papers and they can put you on their own application, so that instead of you being the one worrying when you are going to rectify papers and bring your family, you can bring your spouse through study abroad route, right? Then your spouse is able to apply for visa for you, how do I put it now, like permanent residency visa and all that, for you and for him, or for you and for her. Do you see what I mean? So don't focus only on one way that you are not even making headway in, or it's going to take you 10 years to make headway, if you ever make headway, right? Bring your spouse, let them start afresh on a clean slate, legally, and then pull you through. Think of it this way. Let me tell you something. And specifically, I'm going to go with the usual trend, but please, if you notice that this also happens with women, please call my attention to it. Think of it. You're a man, right? You are thinking of most men who want to get their papers. What do they even try to do? Like, especially people that traveled and maybe for one reason or the other they overstayed their visa. One of the primary ways they do, they'll say they want to get married, right, to somebody who already have papers. Now think about it. Instead of you trying to get married to somebody who have papers, how about you bring your spouse? You bring your spouse through study abroad. Once your spouse qualifies for permanent residency, your spouse applies for both of you. So it's like you're going to achieve the same thing, but using your in-house person, using your real marriage and everything. You see what I mean? So think about it. Bring your spouse via the study abroad route. Let them. So it's like starting afresh for you legally, and then they can carry you along. Instead of waiting until when you use 10 years to sort out problem before you go home and carry your wife or your husband, right? Now, the second solution. Hello? Okay. So we've talked about the first solution, which is your spouse coming to the country where you are. Now, the second solution is what? Your spouse going to a different high income country, and then you going to the second high income country to meet them. Some people, they are so afraid that because, let me give you an example. Somebody went to the US, overstayed his or her visa. He doesn't want to leave US. Why? If you leave US, they will never allow you to come back again. You see? But let's imagine that your spouse decided that your spouse now went to Australia or whatever country, Belgium, right? And now they qualify for their papers. You can safely return back home and go and meet them, or you can even travel from where you are to go and meet them in a different country. So your spouse, you can bring your spouse through study abroad route to the country where you are, or to a different country. Because I'm not oblivious, how do you put it now? I'm not unaware of the challenges people go through. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say you traveled, you thought the easiest way was for you to do fake marriage, for example. You started it and now it's not working as you thought or stuff. If you bring your wife or your husband to that same country, there's going to be a problem, right? Because if not legal problem, it's going to be problem of two women finding out that they are married to the same man. You get my point? So there's going to be problem last. So you don't want to wake the sleeping dog. Instead, your original spouse can go to a new country, start afresh via the study abroad route, and you can go there and join them. It's like, let me put it this way: you have made a mistake. The way to solve that mistake, the way to clean up that mess, is not to continue making mistakes. The way is to look for the easiest way to become legal as fast as possible, and you can leverage on the power of your spouse being able to get a fresh, clean study visa on their own, and then they can be the one tagging you along as their dependent. Let me summarize what I have said. Please, if you have questions, ask so that I can clarify. So the whole point is this: you have a spouse, or you are the spouse abroad, or you have a spouse abroad who is looking for how to get their papers and it's taking 10 years. That already tells you that they are not doing the right thing. Instead of you waiting for 10, 15 years for them to rectify themselves before they will unify the family, what do? Your spouse, the one in the country where you left, not the one abroad, the one in your country, can travel to the country where you are or a new high income country, and then you can join them. That's the point. The one thing is that study abroad route is still the fastest, easiest, and most reliable way for you to relocate abroad right now. So you just have to understand it, right? And if you are someone and you are asking yourself, how exactly can you get started on this study abroad process? How exactly can you get started on this study abroad process? You can, I always say, you can start by attending our free webinar at www.vantagemigration.ca. www.vantagemigration.ca. You can attend our free webinar, right? And then if you have more questions, feel free to chat us inbox. Especially you can chat us inbox here, or you can chat us inbox on Instagram, because Instagram, our page is verified, right? At Dr. Linda Iheme. Somebody say, how many years can you stay abroad before you can go with your spouse immediately? Are you talking about what this person say, how many years can you stay abroad before you're able to invite your spouse? There's no number of years. You can go with your spouse as you're going. You can invite them immediately. So what determines you being able to invite your spouse is not how many years you have stayed abroad. Except you are talking about people that are abroad illegally, which is still not about how many years you've stayed abroad. You invite your spouse when you want to invite your spouse. There's no number of years limiting you. However, I'm reading more into your question to say that in case you're asking, maybe let's say your spouse told you, I have to stay 5 years before inviting you. Understand that it's not the number of years. Maybe they are telling you that, for example, okay, if I stay from so time, I will qualify for this, and this will make me, you understand, be able to invite you. And so, sorry, I don't deal with people that migrated to another country illegally. I don't deal with them, right? So I'm just saying that one way to correct that mistake is by going through the study abroad route. If you're going through the study abroad route, you can go with your spouse immediately. You can invite them over after some months, totally dependent on you. But you can go with them immediately. You can invite them over after some months. Even if you have stayed 1 year, you want to invite them, that's still fine. Like, nobody tells you when to invite your spouse. You decide when to invite your spouse. But if you are talking about somebody that is in a country illegally, there's no way you're going to know what their problem is and the number of years they have to spend to clean up the mess. The reason they are not inviting you is not because of number of years. It's because they don't have the power to, maybe because their paper is messed up. Somebody said, Button said, let's assume I got scholarship, but my spouse did not have the chance to secure a scholarship at the same time. Could she go with me? And when there she can get a scholarship? Yeah, but scholarship comes with you studying, right? So if your wife applied for admission, then she can get scholarship. But if she's going with you and she's going to work, She will work, she will not get scholarship. So, of course, if you're the only person that got scholarship, you can go with your spouse. The other time I posted, I made a video about, let's say you want to go with your spouse, you got scholarship, and you don't have the scholarship covered only you don't have the money for your spouse. You can also go for study loan, because if you take the study loan, you will have enough money to cover yourself and your spouse, right? And then both of you can travel together. So if you have scholarship, your wife does not have scholarship, and you want to travel, this question is from Dosmart, and your wife does not have scholarship, you can, if you have the money to foot her own bill, why not go? If not, she can stay and we apply for scholarship if that's the only way, or she can apply for, you can apply for study loan and use the money to process our own thing. So there are different ways around that. Joyce Lynn said, I inboxed you. Did you inbox me on this page? We reply to all questions within 24 hours. So be sure that you inboxed me on this page and you didn't inbox the wrong page. Alternatively, inbox me on Instagram. That way, that one I know that you can't miss it. Inbox me on Instagram at Dr. Linda Iheme. All right. So if you inbox us, most times within 24 hours, within a couple of hours, but max within 24 hours, we reply to all inbox messages. So, and if it's less than 24 hours, then wait patiently for your reply. But be sure of where you are inboxing, okay? Somebody said, what if I came as single and later I want my husband to join me? How do I go about that? So there are two ways. One way is that you can talk to an immigration lawyer in your country, in the country where you currently are, and they will tell you more about spousal sponsorship. That is how to sponsor your spouse to come, right? Or your spouse can apply for admission and come as a student, and both of you can do whatever you want to do. So if you came legally as a single person, you have the opportunity to sponsor your spouse. Talk to an immigration lawyer closest to you. That would be the easiest way, because we handle only study abroad, right? We handle study abroad. We don't handle any other type of visa. Somebody said they are looking for a school representative where they are. You don't need a school representative to get admission. That's what we keep telling people. You can get trained. You know, what we say, some people feel like we're overemphasizing it, but believe it or not, there are people who really want to relocate via the study abroad route, and they don't know how to get about it. And that is why we train people on how to do that all by themselves. So if you are relocating abroad via study abroad route and you are waiting until the day you will discover a school representative close to you, it's a sign that you don't know what to do. Why not get trained? Start by attending our webinar at www.vantagemigration.ca. Okay? Philip is asking where will the study loan be paid? The study, depending on the study loan body you are going with, you are going to be able to tell you exactly what is going to happen. They're going to be able to tell you exactly what is going to happen. So this is a conversation that you have to have with the study loan body. If you decide that you want to go and meet your spouse abroad, where they study abroad, get trained on how to do it, right? So that you can know exactly how to do it. I think what made it a little bit confusing is that I was talking to two groups of people that they are the ones looking to join their spouse, and others where they are in the country where they are now and they want to bring their spouse over. Anyway, irrespective of which group of people you belong to right now, I'm going to say, understand that your spouse can join you abroad, or that you can bring your spouse abroad via the study abroad route. That's the summary. Okay, take care. My name is Dr. Linda Iheme. I'm an educational consultant with Vantage Migration. To get started, to learn more about what we do, go to our free webinar at www.vantagemigration.ca. All right, thank you. Bye.